morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Ken Wilcox, and this is the Center for Spiritual Living in St. Augustine, a place that invites you to come together and leave behind all your worries, your shouldas, your wouldas, your couldas, and to open up for yourself an avenue of spirit possibilities. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love, more joy, more happiness, more laughter, more fun, more delight, joyful noise. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to bring a joyful noise, and we can do it. And the way to do it is to leave your troubles outside and open yourself up. Know that you're in a really good and wonderful place. We don't have any dogma here. We don't tell you what you should believe. We encourage you to come to a God of your understanding, one that can empower your life to the best of your life. So know you're in a good place this morning, and Spirit is going to recognize and reward that abundantly. Well, we have several announcements this week, some sad, and then some really, really good. The very sad announcement is that our dear friends Diane Ambrose and Jackie Hall made their transitions this week. They both struggled, and their bodies gave out to them, and it was time for them to release them and go on. And so we're grateful that we had them here in our lives. They brought a lot of love and joy. We will have some kind of memorial service for each of them, but the plans are being developed, so keep that in mind, and I'll let you know as soon as that detail for that shows up. We have started a wall of remembrance. We need to thank our Linda Ryan. She's here somewhere. So if you'll notice that outside, those are just some of the people that have been with us, and we want to keep them in mind. Now, next week, I am taking a vacation, and Jim Saul will be speaking for me. So you'll want to be sure to attend that. After service today at 11:30, we have Patty Miller. Patty, there she is. And she's going to do an hour of singing bowl meditation for us. So that's really something not to be missed. And next week, Jerry here, stand up, Jerry, let me see how handsome you are. He is going to do an after-service workshop, A Course in Miracles, the 3 steps to happiness. So that's going to be 11:45 or 11:15 next week. So be sure to stick around to that. So, like I said, I have some good news, and then they'll have some even better news that you're all going to be excited to hear. The good news, the Judy James matching grant. We actually made that match. You know, the challenge was we would raise $15,000 and we would be matched by $25,000. And actually, we ended up raising $26,000. So that means that we will bring a lot of money, a lot of money. And so we want to, figure out how we can use that to bring in more people, spread our news. Some suggestions about sending me to a fat farm. I didn't appreciate that, by the way. I know who that was. But here's the thing. What's the one most wonderful things we could do? Y'all are really excited about this. Sam and Lucy have agreed to come a second Sunday in the month. So we're going to have Sam and Lucy playing for us 2 times a month. And then, yes. But even better than that, they're going to start up the choir. Yeah. Now that'll start in September. They will start it off with a workshop. And so keep in mind the details of that. So it's going to be we're going to have some really, really powerful and great music here. And we already have powerful and great music, but even more so. And then we'll have the choir. And if you'll remember the choir, that is just, they all blow the roof off this place. So good times, good times. Well, those are all my announcements. Now we got the amazing Catherine Archer coming up to do some music for us. Come on up, Catherine.
All right.
My nephews who live in New Orleans, and I love the thought of being on a train and you never know what to expect around the next bend, right? This is called The City of New Orleans by Steve Goodman, sung by Arlo Guthrie. Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central Monday morning rail. 15 cars and 50 restless riders, 3 conductors, 25 sacks of mail. All along the southbound Odyssey, train pulls out of Kankakee and rolls along through houses, farms, and fields. Passing towns that have no names, graveyards full of old men, graveyards of the rusted automobiles. Good morning, America, how are you? Say, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be on 500 miles when the day is done. Got a light show too. Feel the car game, the old man in the club car. Penny point, ain't no one keeping score. Pass that paper bag that holds the bottle. Feel those wheels rumbling beneath the floor. And the sons of Pullman porters and the sons of engineers ride their father's magic carpets made of steel. Mothers with their babes asleep, rocking to the gentle beat, and the rhythm of the wheels is all they feel. Good day, America, how are you? Say, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Nighttime on the city of New Orleans. We were changing cars in Memphis, Tennessee. Halfway home and we'll be there by morning. Through the Mississippi darkness, rolling down to the sea. But all the towns and people fade into a bad dream, and the steel rail still ain't heard the news. The conductor sings his songs again. Passengers will please refrain. This train got the disappearing railroad blues. Good night, America, how are you? Say, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done.
Thank you, Catherine. That was lovely. One announcement I forgot to make, and that is that we have a board meeting today. And that happens at 11:30. It'll be in this back office back here. So if you would like to come and hear about the state of our center or ideas about moving forward, then you're most welcome to attend our board meeting. All right, well, that's it. So let's get some wonderful intelligence going in our lives. I can't think of a better person than our own beautiful Pat Conover coming up to do a reading and treatment for us. Come on up, Pat.
In light of the in light of the wonderful news about the fundraising efforts and the excellent total that we will have when our fundraising was met, I'm going to read just a short section called Building Prosperity Consciousness. We are pretty good at demonstrating in a pinch. We need money for a trip or medical bills, we manifest it. We need a car or some piece of furniture, we manifest it. Usually the more of a crunch we are in, the quicker and faster we manifest. This is great, however, it leaves us focusing on manifesting specific prosperity when the need arises. A better way to look at this would be to build a prosperity consciousness, which demonstrates as having enough for all your needs and desires when you don't necessarily need or desire them. It means no longer having to create specific manifestation because you are demonstrating steady and increasing freedom and experiencing always having enough. And we know that deep down within ourselves, but we tend to forget. Now, if you'd like to close your eyes. I know that the power of the universal spirit is here with us, each of us, every day, all the time. We are one with that spirit and can manifest whatever we decide we need and we are by focusing on that energy. I give thanks for this knowing. I give thanks for the abundance of life, the joy of life, the wonder of life in all of its dimensions. And I know that that which I need and want is mine. I give thanks for the center, for Reverend Ken, for our musicians, for all of us who come to celebrate the joy found here. And I send this into the universe to do its good work by saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Pat.
I got so into it, I almost fell asleep. Like a pool of prosperity. Okay. This is interesting, doing this before you have spoken. Let's see. I'm going to share this song because it's about unexpected love. It's brand new. I've never sung it in public before. I co-wrote this with my friend J.C. Sullivan. I'll catch just one more wave and then I'm done. Back up the car and meet you at home. We still have time to watch that setting sun. sea glass, you landed on this sandy dune, and our path is suddenly so clear. We're in this together now, polished over time. Our edges are so blended, yours and mine, yours and mine. Like sea glass tumbling across the ocean, you had no idea I would appear. Like sea glass tumbling across the ocean, you had no idea I would appear. Like sea glass, you landed on this sandy dune, and our paths are suddenly sparkling clear. Sparkling clear.
And with a beautiful attitude, like sea glass. I love that.
So my talk this morning is a better idea. Ernest is the founder of our teaching. He once said all healing begins with a revelation. And a revelation. And it's not always as a bolt of lightning. It's often more than likely a whisper, a better idea, a new way of seeing things, a higher possibility. A friend of mine, he's been suffering from what do you have to do? There you go. He's had it for months now. It ruined a trip we took that we planned for months up to see Monticello. He was in so much pain he couldn't walk around the facility. He was in misery. He got back home. He tried physical therapy. That didn't really help. I had made the recommendation that he get into his condo pool because it's in Atlanta. Water's nice and warm. I just had envisioned him in there, moving around, just releasing all that stress and strain. The next morning he woke up, he said he was in so much pain he couldn't get out of the bed. So much for taking my suggestion. So he decided to go not back to his doctor, but to a specialist. And he called his doctor up and said, "You got to get me in." And they got him in the next day. He went in to see this lady. He told her about when he was suffering. She said, "I know exactly what you have." She said, "It's not the typical." She says, "It's not going to, physical therapy isn't going to help." She says, "But we can get you on a course of treatment." And she says, "A couple of shots, a couple of pills, a little movement, you'll get released." She said, "A week or two, you're going to be out of this pain." So when I called him later that day, I could tell from his voice, his whole outlook had changed. He was more confident. He was hopeful. He was positive. Now, this was before any of the medication or any of the therapies had gotten into his system, but that idea that he could be healed had started the healing. It was an emotional, it was a spiritual healing. He had a hope. He had a revelation. I can be healed. I can live without stress, without pain. I can have adventures in my life. Dr. Hung says, healing is not creating a perfect idea. It is the revealing of the already perfect. The already perfect. We are already perfect. Spirit created us and was enraptured with the idea of us. When God thought of the idea of you, it spoke you into being. It called you by name from stardust. And it gave within you every capability to overcome every challenge you're facing now or ever will face. You were God's answer to every problem of the world. when it thought you into being. And it has not been disappointed in you. It is not discouraged by you. It has never rejected you because of any of your mistakes. It is enraptured by your possibilities for greater living, possibilities of bringing love, of healing, compassion, of making the world a better place. That doctor that spoke to my friend, he served as a channel for a revelation. Spirit moving through human insight. And that's what we're all called to do. Whenever we're facing challenges, the invitation is to stay open to a better idea, an idea that will lift us up. Because the truth is, as long as we dwell on the negative, we're going to create more of a negative. We're more certain. And why does that happen? Because we believe in the negative so much. We have so much faith in the negative. If we could take a tenet of the faith we have in the negative and move it toward a positive, we would become miracle workers. We would be creating blessings all the time. So we want to by being deliberate, raise our vibrations as often as we can. Lift our vibrations up from the turmoil and the stress and the strains of the world and become channels for possibilities. And when we do, we can bring any greater good than we've ever even imagined. God is wanting to all you, with how much you're loved, how much you're supported, how powerful you are. We can do greater works than we have ever conceived. What is saying in Scripture? Scripture said you can look at the mountain and say, "Not to be moved," but the mountain is gone. I don't need to move a mountain, but it's wonderful knowing that I can speak perfect health, that I can speak a world that works for everyone, or I could speak a world that's not in turmoil, and where people are not fighting each other, where people are not dying, where children are not starving. I can speak that world into reality. Now, last week was a tough week for me. 2 dear friends passed away. I had a counseling session with another man who's at the last chapter of his life. And then I found out a young relative had taken his own life. Now, in ministerial school, they don't give you a special, sauce or a special cloak, or we're not gifted with anything to make any of that easier. We have our own challenges to move through that. So as I was going through all of this, I kept asking Spirit, what am I to do with this? What am I going to do with this grief and this being all around Bible? And in the middle of that, I had a revelation. I was out taking my dear Shaggy for his walk at 4:45. Who could turn down that face? That is my little furry alarm clock. You cannot buy an alarm clock that works any better than him. Because at 4:45, that little head I'm going to see popping up over the mattress. So I take him out. The stars overhead. I actually like getting out in the morning because it's quiet. There's nobody out, no cars moving around. The cicadas were singing. Fortunately, the gnats weren't out yet. The gnats, the kamikazes of the animal kingdom, they have no regard for life. They will fly directly in your eye without any hesitation at all. So fortunately, I don't have to deal with them. So I'm out walking this little guy around, and all of a sudden an idea popped into my head. It was something I had never thought about. This came from completely out of the blue, like a thunderbolt from the blue. And the idea was, I would like to lead a tour of the Camino Trail of Spain. I would like to go take a group of people and go on the Camino Trail and make it a spiritual adventure. I had never thought of doing that at all. Hiking and I are a natural match. But all of a sudden, I could see it clearly. I could see the whole trail. Not that we're walking the whole trail, but I can see that we can make how magical it could be. A gentle morning walk, a beautiful village. Those are some of the flowers that bloom on the trail. A lunch in the village, music in the square, a lovely hotel. In the evening, we could do a meditation or a little class about the history of the trail. We'd rest and then we would sleep well and do it again the next day. Wouldn't that be glorious? Wouldn't it be magical? And I gave it some thought. I gave it some energy. And then a funny thing happened. I mentioned it to a friend of mine who has been on the trail. And she happened to say, well, we now can, on the portions of our beach from Jacksonville to St. Augustine is designated as the Camino Trail. It's the beginning of the trail. It's called the Bambino Camino. That's what they call it. The baby Camino. And you walk from Jacksonville to the mission of St. Augustine. There you go. And this has been happening several years now. Well, that was a sign. Here in my backyard is this trail, is the beginning of a trail. That was a wink from the universe. That was the universe saying, you're on to something. When an idea pops up in your consciousness when you're doing the dishes, walking the dog, folding the laundry, honor it. Maybe will be an idea from a spirit. Now here's the thing. The Camino trip may or may not happen. The point is the idea lifted me up when in a moment when I needed some inspiration. And by it raising my vibration, it allowed me to consider other possibilities. It opened a gap for greater ideas to come to me that would not have come if I had stayed in the low vibration. It may be someone giving us enough money so we can build a building of our own. It may be, us getting a renter that takes care of most of our rent. It may be a friend of mine inviting me to go backstage to see Bette Midler and Gypsy. It could be anything. Don't limit spirit. Don't see, we get ourselves so focused. I need this in my life. I need this job. I need this car. I need this partner. And we limit spirit down to just an alleyway of the universe. But God has the whole universe to bring your blessings to us. So open yourself up as wide as possible. Allow Spirit to bless you in ways you have not even conceived. When we focus on our possibilities, the universe conspires. That's what Emerson said. He said it will conspire to bring you more love, to bring you more joy, to bring you more compassion. A conspiracy of opportunities, of possibilities, of ideas. When we say, focused on lack and limitation, the world will gladly give us more of that. Clark Chol Shin, she said, your word is your wand. What you speak, what you say, what you envision, what your emotion supports, that's what you're bringing into your life. So we want to make sure what we're attracting into our lives is our highest good, the most love, the most joy, the most health. Now, as I said, next week I'm taking the week off, and that's because my niece, who is turning 50 this year, she will always be my baby niece to me. She's coming with her 13-year-old son, and she spent summers with me for 26 years now, 26 years. And I can remember one particular summer she came, And she was really in a very broken place. Her and her husband were stationed in Germany. They were trying to get pregnant. They had gone through the fertility procedures, and she had German doctors. And at one point, one of the German doctors told her, he said, "You will never get pregnant. You will never have a child." And she had gotten pregnant right before she came, and she had had a miscarriage. And so she came devastated. She was broken of heart and wounded of spirit. And while she was here, she began to do research. And she actually found out that Walter Reed, the best military hospital in D.C., that they have one of the best fertility clinics in the world. And that by being a military spouse and stationed overseas, that she could request an immediate appointment. And if they had any appointments to come available, she could get in. And so she did. And she got an appointment to go see this fertility doctor. And so we went up to D.C. and she had gone to the clinic and spent all this time doing tests and things. Finally, the day came where the doctor was going to do the final report. And she asked me to go with her because she was worried that if it would be negative, she didn't want to be alone. So we got into the Walter Reed, and it was one of those big several buildings that had been built in the 60s, really big and huge. I remember they took us into the doctor's office, and it was just this huge doctor's office, these big, huge windows. And he was seated behind the desk. And when they brought us in, we sat in front. He came from the behind the desk. He came around. He sat on the desk in front of her, and he looked her directly in the eyes. And he told her, he said, "You got pregnant once. You can get pregnant again. And I won't release you from my care until you're holding that baby in your arms." He was a channel of her spirit. That promise was a revelation. And this week, her baby, all 6'2" of him, will be coming through my door. Now, here's the funny thing. He told her, he said, what we'll do is we'll start you on the lowest medication to begin with. And he said, eventually we might have to work out to the things they do, the last procedures. We went to Costco. We got all the medication filled. She went back home. She hadn't started on the treatment yet because it's it's not a good treatment. It really affects your emotions, your hormones, all kind of stuff. Before she could start on the medication, she was pregnant. Wow, she was pregnant. An ideal, a revelation, possibility. If that can birth a child, what can it do for you? What can it do for the world? Perhaps we've been muddling too long in the idea that the world has to live in life in limitation. Perhaps we've been muddling too long in the idea that we have to bicker and we have to argue, that there has to be war and starvation. Maybe we're not just waiting for God to move. Maybe it's time for us to step up and to be channels of divine revelation, to step up into our power. Gospel of Thomas said, if you bring forth what is within you, what is within you will save you. Not just save you, save the world. You may be a voice of hope for someone that you have no idea. You may be an unexpected confirmation, a lifting up. So stay open to where Spirit may be whispering to you greater possibilities. Dining Holmes, he says there's a power from good in the universe that's available to us. And it's ours to put to use. So how do we do this? Well, just some simple things. Stillness. In modern life, we're too busy. We're on the go all the time. And we have so much noise around us all the time. Spirit will not shout over your to-do list. Amen. Be still and know I am good. Be still and know I am good. May have trouble with the word God. Many people do. Just add extra vowel to it. What is good in your life is God in your life. What God is God in your life is good in your life. Then we want to stay open to the universe. Stay open to possibilities. Home says, let us learn to think in terms of expansion and inclusion. Then we want to be joyful in our expectation. Well, the smallest things delight you. A joyful heart attracts more joy. And be open to the signs and wonders of the universe. Say to yourself, I'm open to revelation. I receive new ideas, new energy, new healings. My path is blessed. My life is holy with joy and grace. With the joy and grace of Spirit whispering through people, through nature, even the gnats that are flying directly in your mouth. All of it. So may we stay open to the nudge. May we follow the thread, and most importantly, may we be open to the revelations, ready to take on new possibilities, new challenges. May we see ourselves as God sees us, not as wounded, not as wacky, not as broken, but powerful, bold, dynamic, out in the world, making a difference. God, Spirit has faith in you. I believe in you. So now's the time to go out and let the world know you are on the move. You're not turning back. Your eyes have seen the glory of the God made manifest, and you're going to make it happen. It's the truth. It is the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is.
You're on fire again. That happens, I notice. So, how many of you like to walk on the beach and look for things like sea glass, sea beans, shark teeth? But I love how the ocean just brings us things unexpected, and you never know. Because, so, like you said, if you're open, you might find a gift. This song is called Sea Bean. Has anybody ever seen one of those little, they're called like hamburger beans, and they're wooden. They're actually a seed that comes from far, far across the ocean. So they're really cool. I've even found one that was shaped like a heart once. So this song was co-written with my creative partner that I wrote my book with. Let's see here. Here we go. And I'm ready to do the El Camino, by the way. Drifting like a sea beam on the currents of the seas, from the coral keys of Florida to the volcanic Canaries, from the trees of Costa Rica to the beaches of South Wales. The drifting little sea beam has a sailor's salty tales. Around the ocean currents, a tiny pod can float. The heart can then imagine the safety of a boat, moving with the current upon the ocean swell. A heart can then imagine the seafarer is well. Tiny sea beam, ebb and flow. Tiny sea beam, where can you go? Drifting like a sea beam on the currents of the seas, from the straits of Madagascar to the beaches of Belize, from the jungle
So now we come to the time we support this community, and we support this community because this place is doing lots of good work in the world. So you can support us in a couple of ways. You can do it in consciousness, doing prayer work to see us out in the world thriving and doing great. You can volunteer with us. We always have lots of volunteer opportunities. And of course, you can support us in coin. However you choose to support us, know that Spirit is going to recognize and reward you abundantly. So if you'll take your intention or your offering, place it over your heart, read with me this affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. If the ushers will step down, we'll thank you in advance for your generous contributions.
I'll turn on stick with me, I'll turn your money green. Yeah, stick with me, baby, I'll turn your money green. I'll show you more money than a Rockefeller's ever seen. Yeah, the river was whiskey, baby, I was a the river was whiskey, baby, I was a dime. Quack, quack. I died to the bottom and I never would come up. Stick with me, I'll turn your money green. Stick with me, baby, I'll turn your money green. I'll show you more money than Jeff Bezos. I'll show you more money than Zuckerman. I'll show you more money than Elon Musk has ever seen.
Well, you go get that money, Elon Musk. Thank you.
Enjoy. Thank you for your supporting our center. Your support is helping to make the world a better place. You're a channel of God's blessing, and we're so grateful for it. So we bless it, we release it, knowing it does its good and powerful work, returning to us, multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my friends, I'm going to do a closing affirmation to conclude our service today. I'm going to do it in the first person, but take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, well, just let that part slide by. But just this truth with me this morning. God. There is but one God and one mind and one power. That power is perfect love, it's divine intelligence. That power spoke me into creation from stardust to walk the soil of St. Augustine, to be a child of its blessings, to lift my eyes up and to know the truth for myself. That I'm not weak, I'm not wounded, I'm bold, I'm dynamic. I'm here in the physical plane to be a child, to be the blessing I'm seeking, to be the miracle Spirit has called me to be. So here today, I'm not discouraged. I do not feel in turmoil or dismay with the state of the world. Here today, I've lifted my eyes up. Here today, I've opened my ears to the sweet whispers of Spirit calling to me to be who I am. Calling to be me to be the truth of myself, to discard and to break the shackles and bondage of lack and limitation, of neediness, to speak my truth, to live my truth, to be out in the world making a difference, a bright shining light of God's possibilities exactly where I am. Spirit has never been discouraged by me, never disappointed by me. It has laid a banquet before me, and this morning I am saying yes to it all. This morning I leave this place inspired. I leave here encouraged. I leave here seeing and knowing myself as God sees and knows me. So I'm not turning out. I'm not turning back. I have let go of every fear and lack and limitation I've ever even played with. Those are small ideas. They have no power. They flee this right knowing like the shadows fled the morning sun. Here and now, I speak my truth. I live my truth in the glory and joy and manifestation of God Almighty. And I am here to witness God raining down blessings upon me, to be awed with how much Spirit loves me. This is my truth. Every cell of my being radiates this right knowing. And I release this prayer unto the mind of God to do His good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you with one last idea. That is your life. Your life. It's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, proclaim your miracle, and make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle Spirit is calling us to be. Until we see each other again, this is Reverend Ken, wishing you many blessings.
It's the first song I wrote when I moved to St. Augustine. And you know that St. Augustine is part of the Spanish Trail all the way to San Diego.